Hi, I am Siri Lamb, the tech-minded teacher, and I'm here to present you with a two-part tutorial on how to use Google Forms and the Autocrat add-on to personalize and automate feedback in the classroom. I spent so much of this past school year on a journey through digital grading. I had only used Google Docs last year already. And I had lots of comments and I shared things and I did send rubrics digitally, but it was all very clunky and involved a lot of steps and a lot of time and a lot of everything. And so my poor students this year were guinea pigs and they were amazing because they did not complain when I kept redoing things on them. And after a tremendous amount of time and effort and exploration, I think I've basically settled on this as my favorite method of grading. Now, I've used it in my high school class, and I used it last semester and over the summer in my college classes as well. And I've gotten such positive feedback from my students on the clarity and on how great it is. And so I figured that I'd create a tutorial to help other teachers use this as well. Now, before I get started in how to do it, I just want to be super clear that this is an advanced skill. And at the outset, it can seem overwhelming and definitely time consuming. But I'm hoping that with some of the tips and hacks that I'm going to sprinkle in this video and in the one that follows, and with familiarity, you'll be able to ace it, and I hope that you'll love it as much as I do. So let's get started. You start off with a form, and here's the first hack. If you're going to be doing this a bunch of times over the year, what you want to do is you want to create a template that has the information that's going to come up in every single form that you create. So I'm going to just call this template. And obviously, if you teach multiple classes, you might want to put your class name so that you know who you're coming to. Now you make a field for the first name. And I really recommend doing first name and last name separate so you can sort better. Now, instead of leaving short answer blank, another hack number 2, I guess, is to create a drop-down menu. And if you have your roster in a spreadsheet, you can just copy and paste from that spreadsheet into here. Since I'm not using a pre-made roster, I'm just going to randomly make up a couple of names here just so we're going to be able to use it for demonstration purposes. And then you make a field for the last name. And again, same, you do the drop down and then you would copy and paste from your roster. Okay, and then the third field that you're going to want in this template is the email. If you're going to want to be able to automate distributing these rubrics, you're going to need your student emails in here. Again, I'm just going to make up emails. I'm obviously not using real ones. Whoops. So I just want to have this here for demonstration purposes only. Okay, so this is your template. So you stop over here at the template and you have it, and now it's done. And all of this past couple of minutes that I did, you did it once. You could do it before you start teaching. For those of you who started teaching already, whatever, do it today, do it tomorrow, but then it's done. Now you save this as a save to your Google Drive, and now you make a copy. And every single time that you need to create a new form, you just start with a copy of the template. And so then I name my forms by the name of the assignment. So let's say I'm going to just call this one sample assignment. It's in my drive. I'm going to start it. And how awesome is that? So now I just need to quickly rename this sample assignment. Okay, so now I have all this information. Okay, so here is where this gets started. You need to consider what's on your rubric or on your scoring sheet. I've used it for both. I've used it for rubrics. I've had a lot of success using this for like oral presentations where it's not a full rubric, it's a score sheet. I have lots of different criteria. Each one is graded out of a certain number. But with my rubrics, I will say that I use a take on Jennifer Gonzalez, Cult of Pedagogy's single point rubric, where I don't have like all the boxes in the whole entire table. Instead, I have a column of expectations and then a comment that goes next to each of the expectations. And sometimes I also have a score. So let me show you how you go about setting that up. You think about the different criteria on your rubric. And let's say the first one in mine is always, as a New York State thing, is always meaning, right? So I leave here a field for meaning and just space for the text. And then let's say I also want to be able to put in the score. So I put in meaning score. And that, let's say I know it's graded out of 6. Again, I'm going to do my drop down and I have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. No students get 0. Anyway, there's not 0 on the rubric. Okay, but here, and then I do that for each one of the criteria on the rubric. If I want at the end a total, because one thing Google Forms still does not have is an ability to calculate your total. So you kind of have to do it old school and add it up. But let's say I have the total and this essay is graded out of 24. I could sit and, just do the drop down out of 24 or not. Like sometimes I just say, whatever, it's not even worth it for me to write all 24 numbers. I'm just going to leave it short answer and leave it free form. Usually I like to add to the end feedback where I can write a general comment. But here's where it actually gets really cool and personalized and amazing. Let's say, because I know so many teachers are already doing this using Google Keep and using macros and using all these other kind of things, you have already a list of common comments that you write for different aspects of your rubric. Maybe not a meaning, but maybe under mechanics, you have subject-verb agreement. You have a lot of subject-verb agreement errors. Or maybe it's something you're just testing them on their thesis knowledge. You say thesis is strong and really well written. Thesis is vague and still needs some work. You're missing a thesis. Where did it go? What you can do is you can use checkboxes. So you create the checkbox and here you type your comments, right? Again, I'm just going to do samples. Your claim is meaningful and addresses the prompt question. You only answered part of the prompt. Please recheck the question. You have good ideas, but you need to refine your thesis statement. I don't know, whatever. I'm making this stuff up. Let's say you have a whole database and, like bank of comments, you paste them in over here, right? Sometimes when I do this, I still like to leave a blank field for like extra, but let's just say this looks like this. I put it in, maybe my end comments, I have a whole bunch, positive, negative. At the end, I like to for sure leave an extra field that says feedback because sometimes I want to add something that's not on that list. And so it just gives me that availability. But whatever it is, you put together your form. That's really where step 1 is. You put together your form. You have your form with all of the different parts of your rubric. I want to quickly show you. Or actually, what I want to say, I'm sorry, if you're going to look onto my blog post that goes with this, that I will link up here, you'll be able to see a whole bunch of samples of ones that I've actually used in my classroom for a variety of different kinds of assignments. So this, once you've done the whole entire thing, you want to just check 2 things in the setting. So you go to the little gear that has settings. Settings. There you go. And you want to make sure that 2 things are not checked. Well, collect email addresses because you don't want to. You want to put those in automatically. And you want to make sure, most important, is that limit to 1 response is not checked off. Okay. And then if you want, you can press edit after submit. That's sometimes helpful. And then you press save. Now you're ready to start. You click on this little preview button over here, and now you get the version of the form that you can fill in, okay? So you choose, you're gonna take out your stack, either if you have them on paper, if you have them digitally, which is how I collect all of my materials. I split my screen, and so I have on the left side, I have my paper that I'm grading. On the right side, I have this form. I have Jill Smith, here's her email. And now she only answered part of the question and she has good ideas, but she needs to refine her thesis. And therefore, her meaning score is a 4. Okay, I do the whole thing. Well, here her total is 4. And now I want to tell her, I'm so happy to see that you've made progress in your thinking. Can't wait to see what comes next. Okay, that's my feedback for her. I press submit. I'll only do one more just so I can have 2 for you. I press submit another response right here. Now I am grading Denise's paper. Okay, I choose her email. Denise is a superstar. She got this one right. She has the 6. She gets the 6. I knew you could do it. Congrats on another job well done. Okay, submit. Okay, so now when you've finished the whole entire class, you go back into your assignment and into the responses tab. And here, the last step for today's video is you create a spreadsheet. Okay, you create a new spreadsheet. And this is where I'm going to pick up in the next video. So to recap, you are, first of all, and this is that hack number 1, you're creating a template that you're going to be able to use all year. Hack number 2, you're copying and pasting your roster information, first name, last name, email. You're making a copy of that form. You're inputting all of your rubric fields that you're going to want to fill. Those can be number fields. Those can be long answer fields where you're free typing your comments. Those can be check boxes where you can tick off from commonly used comments. I hope that this is helpful, and I hope even more that you're going to join me back to see what you do with this spreadsheet that you've generated and how you use the Autocrat add-on. Can't wait to see you then.